Hey, today is April 18th, and guess what? I had an amazing day, okay? I did not know that this is where God was going to lead me. The 15th, I ended up getting 72 hours, okay? And if you have not watched John Boucher's video, Watchman for That Great Day, he just put it out maybe an hour ago, no, about 6 o'clock, okay? I highly recommend you watching it because it explains exactly what my 72 hours mean. And I've noticed Darla got 71 hours. There's another lady that commented on my last video that she got 72 hours. There, Carly, 72 hours. There's just so many people that's been getting 72 hours stuff in their spirit, okay? Well, today begins the 70th year anniversary for Israel, right? Well, get this. 70th, it is a 3-day festival that goes on. Sorry, I can't see out of my glasses. And while that goes on, guess what? It is for 70 hours, okay? Now, 70 hours, which is 3 days. 70th generation, okay? Now, you're going to understand what I'm saying this, right? Okay. Netanyahu, I was just watching the video, said 70 years is a blink of an eye. Okay? Blink of an eye like rapture, right. But 70, okay? 70 years, which is the fullness, okay, of that generation that God said that 70 years is upon thy people in Daniel 9:25. Okay, my 72 hours would therefore be extended to the 20th. Okay, because yeah, I received more in my spirit today. Now, so as I was sitting there, okay, I receiving revelation, I was watching John's video that he just put out, and exactly at the 155 mark, my son blew his trumpet. And it's just weird how God is, it's not weird, I believe it's no coincidence. God is really using my child right now in bringing in the spirit. Like, he's really being used by God. He's 8 years old. So anyways, he blew the trumpet, and it was exactly at 5:57 p.m. Now I'm going to tell you what these mean. Okay? 155 in the Strong's and in the Greek, it means a request, a cloak, a robe, and a garment, okay? We're getting ready to get our robes, okay? But the 557 means 2 Israelites, which means like the 2 witnesses are about to come onto the scene, okay? Which John sat there and explained. I am going to confirm what John has been saying, trying to get you to understand about the midst of the tribulation, okay, with this Gog-Magog war, okay? But before I completely get into that, I'm going to read you some of the study and, the things that I've been pulling together, okay? From the Balfour Declaration of 1897, if you add 120 years, because 120 years was given to man from God, okay, 120 jubilees, all right, years, you get the year 2017, 2018, because we know we have the calendars off, and it goes off the sighting of the moon and all that good stuff, okay? The civil year begins in September or October, and the sacred year begins March or April. From 1977 to 1978, that is when Israel reached its maturity. If you add 40 years from that year, you will get 2017, 2018, okay? From 1967, when Jerusalem was retaken by Israel, if you add 50 years for that as the Jubilee, which is the time of deliverance, you will get 2017, 2018, okay? Now, from 1947 to 1947-48, Israel was reborn as a nation. From the decree, okay, the 70 years was completely fulfilled already in 2017. But the actual establishment of the 70 years is what they're celebrating today. Okay, or as many would say, May 14th, 1948, when they became a nation. We are going off our calendars, but we have to understand we're not Jews. God says when he's speaking, he's specifically speaking to Israel on Israel's timing, God's timing. We cannot go off the Roman calendar. We cannot do that. We have got to stop doing that. That is why everybody is always wrong, including myself. So now, 1917 is when the year the Balfour Declaration was issued. If you add 100 years, okay, to that of the captivity, it'll lead you to 2017. A generation has a starting point and it has an ending point, okay? Now, people's like, oh, we're never going to know when Jesus is coming back, blah, 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 blah. You don't know the day or hour. Well, this should shush you right there and get you to understand that, yes, God's very discreet. He's very to the point and precise of what he's saying. He is not an author of confusion. It is man who has converted his word into their own understanding, okay? And then the starting point, which, as I mentioned, equals out to exactly 70 years, which is spoken of in Daniel 9, okay? Now, from the fig tree, okay, I'm going to, wait a minute, skip down real quick and finish reading this so I can put the rest of it together. According to the Jewish history, an adult male is considered mature at age 30. This also goes for priesthood and Matthew 24:32 says that when the fig tree has budded or was born, okay, it spreads forth its leaves, its maturity. That generation will not pass until all prophecy is complete. Okay? All prophecy. So Israel became a nation in 1948 and reached maturity in 1977. Now remember, the Israeli civil year begins September, October, not January. By the time the fig tree generation has completed a full generation, the tribulation is over and Jesus has returned. Okay? Menachem however you pronounce his name, became Prime Minister of Israel in 1977. In 1978, signed the Camp David Peace Accords with Egyptian President Anwar Sadat, brokered by Jimmy Carter. The Camp David Peace Accords incited the Arab world against Sadat, who was assassinated. The accords also greatly angered Yasser Arafat, leader of PLO. He started in 1987 to 1993, the first in the year 2000 to 2004, and the second in intifadas, an uprising, and a shaking off the Zionist infidels. So all in all, the verse in Matthew 24 is about the birth and the maturity of the nation Israel and subsequent historical events affecting the nation, that the final period of testing, okay, for that nation began when they reached maturity in 1977 to 1978. In the Torah, the Lord said that he tested Israel in the wilderness for 40 years. It should be noted that the final testing period for the world began in 1977 to 1978, which leads us to the year 2018, this 70th year generation. He said, all these things will not pass away. My generation shall not pass away until all these things be fulfilled, until my gospel be preached from one end of the world to the other. Okay, so be excited because we are right there. Now, April 15th, going back on that, this is something that Darla and I was talking to about this, okay? She started talking about a vision that she had from the Lord. Forgive me, Darla, I don't remember all of it, but I know I had red sand. It was coming from Canada, and she was screaming, is anybody out there? Is anybody out there? Is anybody out there? And she was really afraid. Well, what popped in my mind was Titanic. And I was like, wait a minute, was that in 1917? No, get this, April 15th. 1912 at exactly 2:20 a.m. is when the Titanic sank. Now I got to stop there because IR 5 is Saturday, okay? Well, yeah, the 20th, considering 19th, 20th. But if you're going off the other calendar, the Gentile calendar, I'm going to tell you this, that it would be Nisan 24, which would be the first month, 24th day, right? Now get this, which that would be Nisan 24, which would be April 20th. All right, which would be, what I said. Now, the vision was revealed to Daniel 10:7 when he was left alone. I'm going to reread this. This was in my last couple videos. And I, Daniel, alone looked up and saw the vision. For the men that were with me saw not the vision. Okay? But a great quaking fell upon them so that they fled to hide themselves. Okay? Which is a distinctive rapture right there. Because only Daniel was raptured. Okay? Because no one is able to be in the presence of the Lord without being raptured. Like 100% in the presence of the Lord. You have to be completely out of your body because sin is unable to enter heaven. And we as humans are full of sin. That's why we have to be conformed in our new bodies. All right, so now, what got me, from the Titanic was, do you remember that part where they're going out? Pardon me.